welcome to Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
Except it's not. Now it is in fact safer to podcast alone.
But see, the catch here is we are alone but also together through the magic of video conferencing.
Shout out to Zoom. Zoom, that must be worth like 20,000 times more than it was this time last week.
Yeah.
Zoom, the only company that will make it out of this alive.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny how many companies are like, all our arbitrary rules, we're lifting them right now, just for a little bit. Data caps? We never needed data caps in the first place. Let's just take those off real quick.
It's gonna break everything. Everything will be different. Anyway, I'm your still healthy host, Madelyn.
I'm your normal seasonal allergies host, Emma.
And we're here to talk to you this week about what we've been playing the last 7 weeks.
Yes, that's correct.
For the second time in a row, this has turned into the last 7-week recap because of bonus episodes.
For some reason, the difference between 6 weeks and 7 weeks is really hard to remember the games that I've played.
Yeah, well, 7 weeks ago was like Christmas, so...
I know.
Think of how much has changed. No, it's not. It was like right before... It was right after Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. That's true.
You're
right.
counting
It
by
wasn't
gaming
Christmas, it was
milestones.
the end of January.
Yes. A lot has happened in those 7 weeks, folks.
Sure has.
But we'll be recapping what we've been playing. In 6 weeks, stay tuned for the longest episode of Talk This of all time, wherein we talk about what we have played in 6 weeks of mostly staying in our homes.
Yes. Will I have finished Death Stranding by then? Probably not.
Unclear. Will the world have turned into Death Stranding? Also unclear.
As long as Norman Reedus delivers my copy of Animal Crossing.
I think I'm gonna go digital.
Really?
I think so. I was thinking about it because I usually do day one pickup at GameStop, and of course their site doesn't allow you to pre-order for pickup, so I just go and buy it.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna do digital because I don't want to pay for day one shipping. And even Amazon doesn't seem to be promising day one shipping. So, yeah, I'll be taking my GameStop Pro $10 reward and buying the digital code at GameStop. And then
so you're still buying it at GameStop?
Not in person, on the website. Can you imagine if I went to GameStop and was like, I'm here to buy digital Animal Crossing?
I have both it and Final Fantasy VII coming from Walmart, actually.
Right.
They're being delivered to a FedEx near me.
So you will still have to venture out.
Yeah, but only like one T-stop.
Well, be sure you put on a bunch of backpacks just to get the full Norman Reedus experience.
I will. I'll pick up everyone's copy of Animal Crossing and deliver them across the city of Boston.
What a wholesome thing. Anyway, I'll save my what I will be playing list for the end of this episode. And for now, we'll look back on those simpler times where we were only worried about World War III.
Mm-hmm.
What we've been playing these last 7 weeks. So, shall I go first? Do you want to go first?
Sure, you go first.
Okay.
You're always more organized about this.
Oh, I wrote it down. Otherwise I forget things and then I jump in the middle of yours with like, oh yeah, I also played Crash Team Racing 7 or whatever it is.
You're living in wishful
Crash Team Racing 7. No, so the obvious ones that I've already talked about a little bit on the show are looking way back. I played some Apex Legends. I've played a teeny tiny bit more occasionally, mostly for Click with Boyfriend's amusement. In the meantime, he's gotten not addicted. He keeps telling me that the shine has worn off, but continues to play it, so I don't know.
He's trying to convince himself.
Yeah. He won one last night.
Good for him.
Very proud of him.
He should become a streamer in these dark times.
You're right. Streaming Clickbait Boyfriend. This is the way to monetize this podcast that I never thought was possible. I'll have him sit down and play all of the Kingdom Hearts games again in one sitting.
Did you see the article about the college professor who tried doing his class on Twitch?
I didn't actually read it. How did it go?
Like, not great, but not like a train wreck either.
Yeah.
But he did it because his class is actually on streaming and Twitch, so...
Well, that makes sense then.
Seems like a experimental idea to do.
Seems like he should have had that in his syllabus to begin with.
Well, he was saying at the end of the article, like, maybe it'll be a terrible tradition.
Yeah. So there's been some Apex Legends playing. I'm bad at it. And now I think that my character is like leveled up enough in Battle Pass rank from Clickbait Boyfriend playing that if I were to play, I would really let my team down. So it's not too late for me, is what I'm saying. I've also been playing a lot of Indivisible. That's sort of the main game that I'm really trying to get through right now. So obviously I played it for the podcast, like a month ago? 4 weeks ago? Something
like that, yeah.
For our episode on Indivisible and the old version of Indivisible. Just kidding.
Oh, Valkyrie profile.
And I'm still enjoying it. You know, I have to recruit every character that I can, because that's my way, and I have to try to keep their hearts levels roughly equivalent. Mm-hmm. Although Clickbait Boyfriend told me the hearts don't actually really matter yesterday, because he looked it up.
I mean, they sort of do. They're like levels.
Right, except, like, obviously Dar is, like, way behind everybody else.
Well, that's, like, it scales the same way. Like, his negative 50 or whatever is the same as anybody else's 0.
Yeah.
I was just very fixated on getting it into positive hearts, though. So
yeah.
I never took him out of the party.
Yeah. I'm getting better at the platforming. I've gotten better at the, like, hitting the axe at the right time, which was my main complaint, I think, on the episode. Mm-hmm. Which is good, because the platforming has gotten harder. So now I'm in this period where you've played it, right? Yeah, you got to the last boss. I remember.
Yes.
I've been also really focusing on trying to get good at perfect blocks.
Good.
At your recommendation.
Yes. Work on that while you can.
Yeah. So we're going between the 3 realms, and it was frustrating to have to, like, go through all of them to learn abilities that people in my party knew how to do.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that you sat there and watched me when I could have shot an arrow to turn these all into flowers all along.
Right, yeah.
Like, how dare you?
It's one thing when, like, you learn it from, like, a new character, but yeah, that one where she was like, you can do this. It's like, wow, thanks.
Would have been good to know.
You've been here for a while, you could have shared that.
Yeah. I am finding the combat a little bit tedious. Not always in a bad way, sometimes in a sort of satisfying way, but I do wish that these enemies took about 25% less time to defeat. Mm-hmm. The grunts. Especially since some of them don't seem to give experience. I fought the big kind of monster vehicle thing in one of the worlds a bunch of times before realizing that it just disappears. It doesn't seem to give me any experience.
Oh, with that one, I think you can just, like, sprint into it and it'll disappear, so you don't have to,
so I've started jumping over it, but I'm frustrated by that. I feel like if I'm going to be battling something, I should get some experience from it.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. My major complaint is that I feel like the grunt combat just takes too long. And maybe that's because there's more nuances to the system than I realized. And maybe that's because I have been rotating my characters so that maybe they're weaker than they're supposed to be. Maybe I'm supposed to be maining certain characters.
No, I remember it taking a while, too. I did eventually settle on pretty much, like, a party that, like, I switched out the healer occasionally. But, Yeah.
I usually
just
go
because I
without a
found some
healer.
of them hard to use, mostly.
Yeah, I was disappointed that the brothers from Central America world were so. Why is that their combat ability?
Yeah.
It's like a cool ability. Like, I appreciate it. It's a cool idea for a mechanic, but it's not that strong. Like, even when I get 4 of their balls in a row, it's about as powerful as one of gigantic fighter woman's attacks.
Yeah.
So, I felt gypped that I went and got the skull for him, only for them to be not very usable.
But now they're here to be bros.
You're right.
Yeah,
they are here to be bros. I'm not disappointed. I have to collect them all. But I was disappointed. I thought that they would be better combat people since they are like a bonus character.
Oh well.
I think my ultimate party will probably be Tungar, Dar, and Giantess Lady, whose name I can't remember.
That's a beefy party.
Yeah, we believe
no
in beefy.
healers.
No healers, just pure hits. Pure punch.
Pure punch, yeah.
So I would continue to recommend Indivisible, especially if you can get it for as cheap as I did. Because it's been a fun distraction, and it's a nice and easy one to pick up and put down.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't like that once getting a gem doesn't save the game.
Yeah.
It isn't a checkpoint. Like, I've gotten weirdly far past getting a gem sometimes, and then booted back, and the gem has not been gotten, and I've been annoyed.
Yeah.
So I have little quibbles, but overall, it's been a fun game. The other game that I played for the show was Knights and Bikes. We will play more of that. I have not played more of it since we recorded last week. Mostly I'll play more of it because it is co-op on the PlayStation, so I don't have to use my Switch controller that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I told you the other one started drifting too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you did.
So, folks, to update you, my other Switch controller has started drifting. My new one that I got at Christmas, which, by the way, I was in GameStop and one of their overly pushy employees was, like, asking me what I was looking for, and for some reason I mentioned that my Switch controllers were drifty, and he was like, when did you get it? And at the time, I was like, oh yeah, like, after Thanksgiving, because I couldn't remember. Being home is all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, well, just after that, they released a new version, so you should really buy a new one. And I was like, okay. But
I really hate how expensive Joy-Cons are,
it costs so much.
Like, they're naturally more expensive than DualShocks.
Sure.
And
well, they're
DualShocks
newer.
go on sale.
Yeah.
It's like $80 for a pair of Joy-Cons? Really?
I know. And I feel like
So
I
I
can't...
can never justify buying another one.
I feel like I can't send them away right now, either.
Yeah.
Like, theoretically, Nintendo would fix these for me, I think, both of them. But
maybe you should try the rubbing alcohol thing. Or
so
whatever it was.
So, one, Emma, you know how hard it is to buy isopropyl alcohol right now?
Fair.
It's impossible. I went to multiple CVS's this week to try to find it. It is nowhere. It is gone. Because what you make homemade hand sanitizer out of is aloe vera and isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's gone. So I ordered some WD-40 contact cleaner, which is supposed to be for electronics.
Mm-hmm.
So that should arrive on Tuesday. We'll see how it goes. Otherwise, I don't know what I will do. Well, otherwise I'll order new ones and I'll feel angry about it, but
yeah,
you know, I'm not going to have terrible controllers during this time.
One of my Switch controllers, as you saw yourself, has started sort of drifting downwards, which hasn't been too big a problem.
Well, that's the problem with mine now. The new one
Yeah.
is downward drift.
Yeah. But it hasn't been too big a problem because, you know, when it doesn't stop me from moving in certain directions like your leftward drift did. It just is a little hard on, like, precision stuff like Fire Emblem, but you can get around that by just using the D-pad, because it doesn't, like, always drift down. It's really just drifty when I'm touching it.
Yeah.
For some reason.
No, this one, the second one, the new one is not as bad, but then again, the first one was not as bad until it got really bad.
Yeah.
So.
True.
So anyway, I'll update you folks on how that goes. I really hope that this magically works. If not, I don't know. I'll probably try to buy some of the knockoff Joy-Cons from Hori or something. Because I just don't want to. I can't spend. I want to get 2 sets, and I just will not spend $140.
Yeah,
for 2 sets. I just can't do that. Anyway, so yeah, we will probably play more of Knights and Bikes because it's a co-op game that I can play on functional controllers. Low bar here. But I've also, like you mentioned, sort of in passing to not being able to move in certain directions, been playing a lot of Link's Awakening, because I was on Amtrak before Amtrak became something to be totally scared of, I guess. To go to PAX. Man, how amazing is it that PAX happened, by the way?
It was just, like, right at the right time.
Yeah.
Like, it's lucky it was earlier than usual.
Right?
If it had been at its normal time, they probably would have canceled
I think if it had been 1 week later, they would have canceled it.
Yeah. But it just hadn't quite hit that, like, exponential growth yet. It, like, wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
I am still kind of glad that, like, Sony canceled, though, because it really did make the show floor less crowded than I remembered it being. Because there was more
there's more space.
Yeah.
Especially in the big developers areas.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went to PAX. If you want to hear the recap of the games we played at PAX, go to the episode where we talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I played a bunch of Link's Awakening. I'm making progress through it. Emma saw me almost get trapped in a dungeon. Because I entered like the 6th dungeon where you're apparently supposed to have both the boomerang and bow and arrow with neither of those things. And somehow managed to make it through a lot of the dungeon. But then there's like an entrance out to get an outside chest in the middle of the dungeon. And after I'd got myself trapped, I was like, okay, fine, I'll just let Link die and I'll warp to the beginning. But I didn't. I warped to that entrance in the middle of the dungeon, and I genuinely thought I had like soft locked my game for half an hour until I eventually somehow figured out a way out.
Oh, old games.
Anyway, I did eventually. I just thought the trading quest in Zelda, I thought, is usually optional. My only experience with that is from Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, which granted are not even first-party Zelda games. Yeah. So maybe that's wrong. But I thought, the trading quest, like, that's fun. I'm probably ahead of the game on that because I've done a bunch of steps. Anyway, there were a bunch of things that would have been, like, impossible to find if I did not look it up. So.
That's, again, very old game mentality.
Yeah. But enjoying Link's Awakening. Feel like I think I'm almost done with it. I have almost all the instruments. Clickwood Boyfriend wants to play it too, so as soon as I finish it, he'll probably play it.
Finally off the Apex Legends kick.
Oh, I'm trying to wean him off. Slowly. It's on his list to try to finish Pokemon, so we'll see if we can get him to play more than that. And then finally, I've still been playing Yakuza, a little bit less because I've been playing Indivisible and Link's Awakening and trying to finish those, but I'll get back to Yakuza more soon. Plus I played Kingdom Hearts 3 Rewind. That feels like a billion years ago. But I did play that. I did finish it. I hadn't finished it the last time we did this. I did finish it. Tried to fight one of the secret bosses, got my butt kicked, did not try again. So yeah, Emma, what have you been playing?
Well, I also have been playing more Kingdom Hearts Rewind. I had finished the story content when we talked about it, because I had, woken up at like 3:30 in the morning and played it before work, like a rational person.
Yeah.
But there are a whole bunch of secret bosses afterwards, and I started doing one, and then I beat Larxene, and I was like, oh no. Now I gotta keep beating them. So there's 13 data fights. That's all the organization members from Kingdom Hearts 3. I got through 10 of them in pretty short order, like a couple of weeks or so. And then I got stuck on Saïx and had given up, and then Madelyn came to visit for PAX and was like, I want to see you try one of these. And then I beat Saïx which means I now have to beat the other two, and then the final secret boss.
All she needed was my expert coaching, which amounted to, maybe you can try fire? And I was being like, no.
If you recover, will you fall to the ground faster?
My useless tips.
You know what? You got me thinking about it, though, right? And I needed someone to impress with my gaming skills.
It required a Psyx at 1 health Kupo coin, though.
It did. I really thought I was dead there.
I know.
But anyway, I just have Xion and big old man Xehanort to beat, who are also very hard. And both of which steal your health from you, so that's fun. So I've been playing a lot of that. It's been a lot more fun. I've never done any, really, of the secret bosses in any of the Kingdom Hearts games. Like, I think when I was replaying Kingdom Hearts 1, I tried the secret boss in that, like, maybe 5 times, and then didn't bother going back to it.
Are you talking about Kurtziza, or are you talking about the actual...
unknown.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I've actually never tried Lingering Well. I've just never bothered. Or any of the other secret bosses.
Yeah.
But this has been a lot more fun than I kind of thought it would. Because it's all very pattern-based. So once you figure out how something works, theoretically, you can always, deal with it. It's just a matter of actually, having good reflexes and such.
Just a small thing.
Just a small thing. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. I've been playing more Death Stranding, which continues to be, it's satisfying to play, even though I really am kind of totally checked out from the story. I really I've been riding a bike a lot recently, and it can go over rocks that it should not be able to go over. So that's a lot of fun.
Are you going to post the video you made?
I posted it on my Twitter.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see what else I can do with it. Maybe whenever I finish the play this, because it has Death Stranding in it, that'll be the coda at the end.
Nice.
So you can appreciate it. But the moment-to-moment stuff of actually going from place to place and planning my deliveries and trying to avoid all combat at all costs because the combat kind of sucks is fun and satisfying. But I don't really care about what I'm doing, which, you know what, maybe is the point, because Sam Reedus doesn't really seem to care about what he's doing either. So maybe it's purposeful. We'll have to see how the game progresses, because I think I'm on chapter 3, and I think there's at least 10 chapters.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I might be wrong about that, but I feel like there's 10 chapters, which means there's a lot left. Maybe it picks up a little bit, the pace.
Yeah.
Probably not, though. But anyway, it's just me and BB leaving good work BB signs across the world. And such. So that's fun. I've also been playing Trails of Cold Steel, which has finally started to actually engage me. I picked it up because, I'd always heard good things about it, and the third one was being localized. So I picked up the first one, and it initially was I'm not really into this, so I put it down for a while. But then I picked it back up, and finally it feels like it's actually, getting engaging, I guess. So it doesn't have a good initial hook, but there's some decent stuff happening right now. We just broke, complicated. There's Machias and Eustace. They don't like each other at all. And so we went to Eustace's hometown on a school trip mission field study thing. So Machias is the son of a governor who's a commoner, not a noble, whereas Eustace is a noble. And while we were in this hometown, Machias got arrested as a political move to put pressure on his father's group of resistance leaders, sort of.
Right.
And then we had to break him out of prison.
Oh, right. That's what I was trying to get you to stream for me.
Yeah. I was really confused when I saw that pop up. I was like, she wants to watch my gameplay.
I just saw that I could ask that, and so I did.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't have been very exciting because I got my butt kicked by a couple of genetically enhanced dogs 3 times and then decided to weaken the enemies so that I wouldn't get stuck on it.
I like dogs.
These ones weren't nice.
Oh.
They weren't nice dogs. They're bad boys.
No.
But the music's really good and I like the combat system and it's finally getting a little bit more engaging story-wise, so I'm gonna keep going with it because God knows I need more long games in my life.
Well, you probably do right now.
That's fair. Let's see. I don't remember if I played any Pokemon in these last 7 weeks. I got to Raihan and he massacred my party. And then I didn't go back to it. Because I was just like, this isn't supposed to be hard. I don't want this to be a hard game. I just want to breeze through it and be the champion. Come on now. I know that's like the opposite of a lot of people's complaints about it.
Oh, no.
But like, that's kind of what I wanted. Because it kind of been that until that point. It was kind of comforting and nice. And now I'm a big wimp who can't take a sandstorm because all of my Pokemon that are strong are weak to ground. So
better be sending them to Pokejobs.
Yeah, they've been in Pokejobs for several weeks now.
No, they have to work from home, Emma.
I know, you can't send them out. They'll get sick. Actually, dogs can't get COVID-19. Coronavirus. They can't get it. They've announced that. So you can let your dogs out of quarantine.
Unclear that Pokemon are more closely related to dogs than people, but sure.
They're edible, so I mean, I guess both people and dogs are, so never mind. I guess that doesn't prove anything. Let's not dwell on that. I played a little bit of Dragon Quest XI. I don't remember if I talked about that last time. I've been focusing on my PlayStation games, so I've been playing a little less of that. But it's fun. It's a good time. The accents are something. They're really something. Let's see. I also have games on my computer. I've been playing more of Kentucky Route Zero. I'm almost through that. Not quite. But I've really, really been enjoying it, and I really think that you need to get it, Madelyn.
Okay.
It's just very, like, theatrical, I guess. Like, all the way the environments look and everything are very much like, wow, that's a theater set sort of thing.
I'll add it to my list.
It reminds me of you. There was this part in, I can't remember if it was chapter 2 or 3, but, like, you meet these 2, like, performers, and they give, like, a performance for you at their venue that's empty, except for the guy who owns it, and your main characters, quote-unquote. And they sing, and you have to choose the lyrics of the song as they sing, and it's kind of very magical, I guess. That's the part that stood out to me so far. Magical realism is my jam, so... That's the summary here.
Nice.
Anything that's like, it's the real world, but also it's weird. Yeah, that's my thing. That's my niche right there. I've also been playing a few of the games I bought on Black Friday and Christmas sales on Steam. I played a little of a game called Islanders, which is like a little puzzle game where you have like this island and you have to pick the kind of building you want, and by placing buildings in proximity or not proximity to each other, you get different amounts of points, right? So like the mansions want to be near the city center, and the houses want to be near the mansions and the city center. and they want to be near fountains. So like that gives you points. But if you put like a logging thing near the city center, that loses you points because nobody wants to be near that, right? So you have to get a certain amount of points on an island by putting buildings in certain places, and then you move to the next island, and you have to get more points and put the buildings in the island, and then you move to the next island, until eventually you don't get the required amount of points and you lose. Yeah, it was pretty fun. It's a good thing to like be like, I want to do something, but I don't really want to focus on anything. Yeah. You know. And it does feel like there's a lot of rules to it that is not like easily checkable, right? So you kind of have to just like learn it. But when then you get new buildings and it's like, if it's near a house, you get 1 point. If it's near a shaman, you get 3 points. If it's near a login, you get -5 points. If it's near a fishery, you get +1 points. It's like all these different rules that's like next to impossible to keep straight.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what the actual strategy would be to do well, I guess. Let's see. I don't remember if I talked about this last time, but it's not quite a game, I guess, but there's a game-like thing called Kind Words, which is just like... Did I talk about this last time?
You talked about it maybe to me. I can't remember if it was on the show or just you talking about it, but go ahead.
But it's called Kind Words. It's like just an online sort of messaging thing that's anonymous that you can send out letters like asking questions or talking about what's troubling you, and then people will send you letters back with advice or commiseration or
Did they
whatever.
talk about this at PAX?
Maybe?
I feel like in the Wholesome panel. I can't remember if you talked to me about this or it was in the Wholesome panel.
Maybe. One of those two. Either way, it's really nice little game. So I've been trying to check in every once in a while and like write a letter back to somebody or something. Because it's just a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
I read an article about it too, and they're like, we don't really get any trolls, which is also kind of nice to think about. Like,
yeah.
Like, I feel like once you, like, announce a space as, like, this is this thing called Kind Words, right? Like, you don't necessarily get anybody, like, intruding into that space purposely unless they're a really terrible person. Whereas something with, like, there was also an article about, like, online trolling in Death Stranding that they're cutting down on, which is, like, there's no direct interaction. It's just, like, people would leave trucks, like, in the middle of the road so that other players couldn't get through. Like, that kind of griefing. But, like, since there's no, like, established rules there, necessarily, about, like, being kind to each other, there's just, like, general messaging, I guess. You get stuff like that, whereas something with a space that's, like, nope, from the get-go, I think that you get a little bit less of it, naturally.
Yeah. That's cool.
And, I think that's everything I've been playing. I have a whole bunch more games on the backlog. I bought Dreams, which I want to check out. I bought Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Oh, actually, that's not all the games I've been playing, because I played the Fire Emblem DLC.
Oh, right. Duh.
Duh. I played the Fire Emblem DLC, Cindered Shadows. I really, really liked it. I thought it was a pretty effective little short story. And all the maps were really satisfying in sort of more of the... Not really in, like, the old school Fire Emblem way, because I think there were more gimmicks than I necessarily remember on the older ones. But in, like, a... You know, you have, like, a set units that you have to use and, like, different sorts of challenges. So they're all very satisfying and fun in a way that sometimes the maps on the standard game are not. And then I started playing the Silver Snow route, which is the Black Eagles one where you don't pick Edelgard, because I haven't done that yet, and you can take the characters from Cindered Shadows and play with them in there. So it seemed like a worthwhile maneuver. But I'm on Merciless, but New Game Plus. So it's been hard. But not terribly hard.
So does this mean that next time we'll once again hear about Fire Emblem for like the 7th consecutive?
Yeah, probably. I'll probably still be talking about Fire Emblem. I'm through the time skip. I'm like 3 chapters into the time skip. Instead of a like overpowered lord on the first map back, instead you get level 26 Seteth, which would be fine on anything except Merciless. But I pretty much just had to like send him to like throw a javelin at someone and then run back to safety. Whereas my character just did all the work and got a little bit lucky.
Yeah.
Because there's a good amount of archers. And he flies. So, yeah.
Well, Emma, what's on your #pandemic bucket list for your gaming?
I'm hoping to one day finish Death Stranding.
Uh-huh.
It is a lofty goal that I'm not sure I will be able to complete. But one day.
We'll check in next week.
I'm also on the final map of Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia on the 3DS. Mm-hmm. But it was very hard, and I died 5 times the last time I tried. So I have been kind of putting it off. So we'll see if I finish that or just watch on YouTube. I've really become someone who does not have patience for things that are really hard anymore. You know? Like, unless I'm doing it, like, casually, like the 3 houses that I'm doing right now. But, like, if I've, you know, had, like, a decent challenge on the way through and then suddenly the final battle is, like, way harder, like, I'm not very inclined to keep trying it. I think that's what adulthood is.
Maybe.
You know? I think that's what it means to be an adult. So we'll see what I do with that. I want to finally get around to Control, which has been sitting on my shelf on the to-play list since, like, August. I haven't started it yet, but I really need to. I feel disinclined to start it until I finish Death Stranding. But by the time I finish Death Stranding, I'll have Final Fantasy VII. So Control will just never get played. Just never. No, one day. One day. That's about it. Like, you know, there's all this, like, talk of, like, you know, doing more things because you're inside all the time. But, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be inside more time than usual. Like, I'm working from home, but I have to still work during that time. So theoretically, all I have is, like, an extra hour at most that makes up my commute time back and forth. So it's not like I'm gonna have, like, more time to do things necessarily.
That's true. I don't know. It depends on how... I think for a lot of people, working from home probably means all the time that you were in the office pretending to do work, you now don't even have to pretend. Right?
Sure. But I do my work.
I know that
I'm going to get a chair so I can sit at a TV tray and have a makeshift little working station so that I do actually focus, you know?
And other people, I think, probably do more getting out than you do, maybe.
Sure. I don't know how much unless they, like, are, like, stay in your apartment, like, as long as I'm washing my hands and not breathing on anybody, there's no problem with me going out if I'm not sick.
I mostly just mean a lot of people have commutes that are much more significant.
Sure.
Who are saving real time. And, yeah, I mean, mostly it's just like...
I mean, I know there are a lot of people that, like, working from home means that they save a lot more time.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me. So, like, making, like, a bucket list of things to do, like, I'm probably going to be going through things at the same pace that I already was.
Fair enough. Well, I've made an overly ambitious bucket list, as is my want. So I want to finish all these games that I'm playing. Mostly Indivisible and Link's Awakening and Knights and Bikes. And I got Phoenix Wright in a sale last week.
Yay!
Before I knew that I was going to be spending quite this much time inside. So I'll be playing that, hopefully. I think when things get really bleak and boring here, I'll play Portal. It's just a little gift to Clickbait Boyfriend. Obviously, this next week, I'm going to play Vagrant Story. It seems like it's available on the PS3 only.
Yeah.
So, thank goodness I have one.
Yeah, a lot of these old games, you're pretty lucky to have my old PS3.
Right.
Because, like, there are a lot of games... Like, I was thinking, like, oh, I kind of want to play Final Fantasy 13. But they've never brought it to the PlayStation 4.
That doesn't make sense.
I know. Like, they brought it to the Xbox One. Which I think is because it was just on PlayStation 3, and then by the time they're like, we want it on Xbox, the Xbox One was out. But they've never brought it up, so it's a little bit annoying. I'm like, I kind of want to play that series, that controversial series.
Yeah.
But I cannot, because you have my PlayStation 3.
Sorry.
Because I gifted it to you out of the generosity of my heart.
You did. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Anyway,
PlayStation 5 will come out and hopefully will be backwards compatible all the way.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
But yeah, I'll play Vagrant Story. I forgot that I have Super Monkey Ball. Play that. All sorts of stuff. It's gonna be a good gaming time.
Sure is. It's gonna be a good game time.
It better be, because my apartment is very small.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that's what we've been playing these past 7 weeks. And
it's shockingly shorter than usual, considering that we played through a lot of games.
Well, we didn't talk about PAX. Right?
Yeah,
like,
but usually these ones... like, I'm not complaining as the editor, but usually these ones go into, like, 70 minutes.
I know. You're right. You're right. Well, I think we've been doing a better job of playing a greater depth of game.
True.
And a slightly less breadth of game.
Especially you, Madelyn.
Yes.
I've actually been getting worse about that, I think.
No, it's me. It's definitely me. But listeners, what have you been playing these past 7 weeks? And what are you planning to play as we all retreat inside to our homes? Or remain inside in our homes? Do you also have overly ambitious plans to finish the backlog? Are you more practical like Emma and realizing that you won't have as much extra time as you think you will?
Oh, I am planning to play Pathologic 2, though, because I think it's required.
Plague Inc. was on sale, too, the last time I was on the PlayStation Store. I was like, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can bring that into my home.
Special Plague sale on Plague Inc.
The last time I looked, it was before it had gotten really crazy in New York, at least, so...
Yeah. But Pathologic 2's on PlayStation now, so I'm thinking I'm going to rebuy it on there and play it there.
Well, you'll report back, I'm sure.
I will. I'll report back. I'll do a blog on it, probably. Maybe.
Speaking of the blog, while you're in this social distancing, self-isolating mode, it's a great time to check out the Talk This website. We're at www.talkthispodcast.com. While you're there, you can read more about the show, see the whole list of old episodes and where you can download them, and also check out our blog featuring long-running series, Clickbait Boyfriend, where my boyfriend plays Kingdom Hearts, and Split Screen, where we're watching Coffee Prince and My Hero Academia, plus various other miscellaneous blog content from throughout the years. We'll probably be posting more on there, maybe, these next couple weeks. It's the time. So it's a great time to check it out and keep up to date on all things Talk This. But also, if you want to keep up to date on things Talk This, you should follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Talk This Podcast, and we're on YouTube at Talk This Sisters. So follow us there for all the news that's fit to tweet or Facebook or Instagram. And finally, want to really catch up on the backlog of Talk This episodes now that you're inside and have nothing else to do and you don't want to talk to your roommates? Well, you should subscribe to the show. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Pandora Podcasts online and on the app, Overcast, Pocket Casts, anywhere that you can find podcasts, you can find Talk This. And while you're there, leave us a rating and a review. We love that stuff.
Yeah, better yet, instead of avoiding talking to your roommates, make a podcast listening club.
There we
listen
go.
To us every week together.
Wouldn't that be cute?
and send us little notes about your discussion.
Yeah, if you start a Talk This Listing Club, do send us notes. Next week, in a Talk This First, I know what the games are next week.
Yes,
finally. We're talking about Vagrant Story and Death Stranding.
What do you mean, Madelyn? You always know what the games are. You just let me say it instead.
Oh, you're right. It's just a thing that I do to make Emma feel good about herself, or to build suspense for the coming episode. You don't know.
You'll know. This is all very purposeful on our part.
But we'll be back then to talk about walking and being a vagrant and JRPGs and Kojima.
Oh, we'll talk about Kojima. Did you hear that there's rumors that the Silent Hills project might be back?
I did hear that, yes.
Because,
why did he take a picture in front of a hill? Genre. With like a shh emoji? Is that the rumor?
I saw like a Hard Times article that was like, Kojima either teasing Death Stranding sequel or is just taking pictures of boxes he likes. And I felt like that was extremely, extremely on point of them.
Well, more Kojima and more relevant than ever delivery man walking through a wasteland content coming to you next week. But in the meantime, this has been Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
Emma, do you want to do the sign-off?
This week, and all weeks, please wash your hands.